Have you ever wondered if your horse actually considers you their mother? Yes, it sounds strange for an animal this size. But behind that bond, there's something most owners completely overlook. These are some of the most telling signs of how your horse really sees you. And if you miss them, which most people do, you'll never realize how much they've been showing you all along. Let's start with the first one. And it might be happening every time you're standing right next to them. 1. They fully relax the moment you're near. Have you ever noticed your horse cock a hind leg, drop their head, and half close their eyes, but only when you're actually there with them? Most owners assume the horse is just tired, resting because resting is what horses do. But full relaxation is the most defenseless a horse ever gets. Dropping that guard costs something, and so does lowering the head below the withers or letting the hind end go soft. None of it comes cheap for a prey animal built to bolt first and ask questions later. Researchers have found that this level of physical release only shows up under one condition. The horse's nervous system has already decided the environment is safe, and that decision isn't about the paddock. It's about who's standing in it. That instinct goes back to the very beginning of a horse's life. A foal only lies down fully when the dam is close enough to watch for danger on their behalf. Only then does the guard come all the way down. The foal borrows the mother's vigilance. Their own body finally gets to switch off. When your horse relaxes completely next to you, cocked leg, soft eye, quiet breath, they're running that exact same program. You're not just tolerated company. In that moment, you're the one keeping watch. And keep that in mind as we go. Because this instinct that makes your horse treat you like their dam doesn't stop there. By the very last sign on this list, it flips completely, and you'll watch your horse start looking after you instead. We'll get into why at the end. For now, just know that a fully relaxed horse is handing you their vigilance in the most literal way there is. 2. They seek you out the moment something feels wrong. Have you ever noticed your horse leave their hay, walk straight past other horses, and come find you the second something in the environment changes? Most riders chalk this up to curiosity, a horse being nosy, checking what you're doing. There's more structure to it than that. Studies on attachment in horses have used the same secure base test originally designed for human infants, separating a horse from their person and observing how they behave. The horses who'd formed a genuine bond didn't just tolerate the separation. They actively used their person as a source of security, exploring more freely when that person was present and showing clear signs of distress when they left. In plain terms, your horse has quietly appointed you their anchor, the fixed point they measure the rest of the world against. That's why the check-in feels so specific. When you're their secure base, your rhythm becomes part of their baseline. So the moment that rhythm breaks, you go still, you sit down, something about you seems off. Something nudges them to come confirm you're okay. It's the same thing a foal does with a dam. Wander off, circle back, confirm she's still there, and still okay. Your horse isn't being nosy when they leave the herd to check on you. You're the ground their sense of safety is built on, and they're making sure that ground hasn't moved. If you're starting to realize your horse may have quietly made you their dam, hit like and subscribe. 3. They groom you the way they'd groom a foal. Have you ever had your horse nibble at your hair, your jacket, or your shoulder with slow, careful lips, not biting, just working over the same spot again and again? Easy to write off as a quirk. It isn't one. That behavior is called allo-grooming, one horse grooming another. Horses do not hand it out to just anyone. In herds, mutual grooming happens almost exclusively between preferred partners. These are the animals a horse has actively chosen to bond with. It's one of the clearest outward signs researchers use to map real relationships inside a herd as opposed to animals who simply share a field. Where does it start? At the very beginning. A dam grooms her foal constantly in the first weeks of life, not only for hygiene. That steady, repetitive contact regulates the foal's stress and lays down the earliest blueprint for trust. It's one of the first forms of care a foal ever receives. When your horse turns that same, slow, careful mouth toward you, they're pulling you inside that same circle. You're this strange, hairless, upright creature who clearly can't groom themselves properly. and they've filed you under family anyway. That's why it can feel a little relentless. They're not just being affectionate, they're grooming you the way they were once groomed, handing the same care down to the one they trust most. 4. They nicker specifically for you. Have you ever noticed your horse nicker the instant they see you? Low, soft, almost under their breath, but stay completely silent when other people walk by? Here's something almost nobody notices. That particular nicker isn't a generic horse sound at all. It's closer to a name. Researchers analyzing horse vocalizations have found that whinnies and nickers carry their own distinct sound for each horse, recognizable enough that horses can tell specific individuals apart by sound alone, even out of sight. And the soft, low nicker in particular has a very specific origin. It's the sound a mare uses to call her foal, and the sound a foal answers with a close-range, low-intensity signal reserved for the bond between dam and offspring, almost never used between horses who are simply pasture mates. So when your horse nickers only for you and stays quiet for everyone else, they haven't just learned a trick to get your attention. They've taken one of the earliest, most private sounds in their vocabulary, the one built for exactly one relationship, and pointed it at you specifically. Every soft nicker at the gate, every low greeting when you walk into the barn is your horse reaching for the sound they once used to call a mother and using it on the one they filed under that role now. 5. They position themselves between you and anything that worries them. What does it really mean when your horse steps in front of you, ears pinned toward a noise, body angled so they're standing between you and whatever just spooked them? Remember at the very start when I told you this whole thing flips by the end? Here it is. Every sign so far has pointed one way. Your horse treating you as their dam, the relaxation, the checking in, the grooming, the private nicker, all of it says you are their safe, trusted point of reference. This last one turns the whole thing around. Start with the dam herself. When a mare senses danger, she has one of the most consistent responses in the species. She puts her own body between the threat and her foal, angling herself to shield the smaller, more vulnerable animal, ready to react first so the foal doesn't have to. Now watch your horse. Something startles them near you. A dog, a loud vehicle, a sudden movement. Instead of bolting straight past you to safety, they swing their body around. You end up behind them. Equine behaviorists who study these moments read it as the same maternal program running in reverse. Your horse has clocked that you're slower, less alert to danger, and generally hopeless at reading the environment the way they can. So they've started covering for you, exactly the way a dam would cover for a foal. That's the twist. To be your dam, they first had to make you theirs. The same instinct that cast you as the mother figure for 4 straight signs is now aimed back at you. And for a moment, you're the one being looked after. To be fair, this protective read is the leading theory, not settled fact. Some researchers frame it more simply. Basic herd defense instinct, triggering around whichever companion is nearest, human or horse. But every version lands in the same place. Your horse counts you as family worth defending. So it was never a one-way bond. Your horse considers you their dam. And on their best days, they try to look after you right back.